many of our listeners here on Tales from the Treehouse probably have guessed by now, Amanda and I are perfect and we never make mistakes. However, sometimes other sources do. And I think off the top, we have to quickly call attention to that. Because last time, everybody, we were talking about Treehouse of Horror 4, and we talked about the air date, which we like to do, and we said it was October 30th, 1995, and we made a big to-do about how cool it was that it came out the day before Halloween. Well, it turns out somebody dropped the ball. I got this book here, The Simpsons Complete Guide to Our Favorite Family, and I've been using that as our source. But then I flipped, to the next episode in the book, and it was a 1993 date, and I'm like, wait a minute. So I hopped on Wikipedia here, and it turns out that Treehouse of Horror episode actually aired October 28th, 1993. According to the book, 2 years before it. And then the one we're going to talk about today, Treehouse of Horror 5, let's see, the book actually has the correct date. This one is October 30th, 1994. So forgive us for our time travel shenanigans, and that won't be the last time you have time travel shenanigans happening in today's episode. But we just wanted to call to light that even though Amanda and I are never wrong, sometimes this book is, but it's still one of the best books ever written. So don't act them, bro. I'm Andrew Fantasia. Welcome.
I'm Amanda Barone. Welcome back, guys. Ready to talk Treehouse.
This is Treehouse of Horror 5 is a classic in so many different meanings of the word. This is, we were talking about this before we recorded, Amanda. This is one that, like, you almost see it as the quintessential Treehouse in a way. Like it's almost the one that everything else either is trying to be or has evolved from, right?
100%. It's the Treehouse, the paradigm of the Treehouse of Horrors for The Simpsons, I would say. It's where they really, again, I think we said this earlier, like they hit the ground running. Everyone is like, hey, we're all familiar with who everyone is. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to go. Let's go. Jokes, let's go. Like,
jokes,
smoke.
Let's go.
Like Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. Jokes, let's go. Yeah, it's just stacked. Again, I believe Conan is still a writer at this point. So, the comedy is classic Simpsons, where, like, again, a lot of the newer seasons are picking up from or heavily influenced by these seasons, and the comedy and the references and the character, like, build up, and stories that are developed during these seasons are really, the emphasis and the baseline of, all of the Simpsons. And the Treehouse of Horror for this season really defined, like Andrew said, defined a lot of the other Treehouses. And it's so funny. And actually, I found a fun fact about it online, that it is one of the highest ranked Simpsons episodes of all time. It has like a 9.2 on IMDb. And it's a favorite, and it has a really good collection of sketches in this one. I think that the showrunners did a pretty good job of, again, including familiar stories as they usually do. And, just putting the Simpsons spin, aligning with, the best characters for the story and parody. And this one was no exception. Again, it's one of the funniest ones. I think one of my favorites, if I think of them all, definitely in the top 5. Yeah, it's a good one.
That's a high praise.
It is.
In fact, this was so quintessential to Treehouse and to Simpsons that I don't know if you remember when the show was running on syndication in the late 90s / early 2000s. We had a channel here in Southern Ontario called Teletoon. And the Simpsons would run on syndication in Teletoon, and they would Teletoon would play these like commercial bumpers during their commercial breaks that were advertisements for shows you could watch on Teletoon, right? And they would have Simpsons ones, obviously, where they would show like a 10-second clip of The Simpsons and then just say, watch The Simpsons Thursday nights at 8, whatever. And there was a point for like a couple of years, it felt like a couple of years, where every clip Teletoon played on those Simpsons bumpers was from this episode. It was Homer going crazy. It was the time travel of like, Marge, please pass me a donut. Like so much was pulled from here, and I like it. Just that goes to show, like they could have pulled from any episode, but they pulled from not just a Halloween one where nothing is real and everything's just wacky, but from this Halloween one. Skinner saying like, let's check on the free range children. That was a clip like taken out of context. Imagine you never heard of The Simpsons and you're looking at that and you're like, this is a dark show. What's going on?
Yeah. No, and it's great. Like this one has so many funny references, and it's one of the darker episodes. And I think the showrunners and prior to it coming out, it was early mid 90s. There was a lot of scrutiny on what was what was obscene and what was what should be seen on TV, like Tipper Gore and her gaggle of censor Karens were going after everything. And I get it to a point, but even in court, like Dee Snider really held a mirror up to them, because they were really going hard against musicians. Mm-hmm. And I think that really steeped into television, obviously, and censorship. That's why Marge comes out with her classic, like, oh, this is too scary, be careful. And they eventually got rid of that. We're all desensitized to things like just from the news, like nowadays. So, eventually got rid of it. But it was a fun segment to include because it was very topical, right? Mm-hmm. What was happening. And yeah, look into Tipper Gore and what, Dee Snider did and said to her. It's pretty funny. I don't want to get into that too much, but yeah, The Simpsons did a really good job. But I know for this episode, they made it intentionally more gory because of like the scrutiny against, and high censorship that was happening at the time. Yeah, that's a part of it.
That's a good point. This is a gorier one. I never even thought of it. But
it's an intentionally gorier episode. Yeah.
It's like in response to that's great. Yeah. That makes the nightmare fog 10 times funnier.
Yeah. It was because of criticism over things, and the showrunners thought like previous episodes were kind of scary, I guess. So like, okay, well, we'll show you gory. Yeah.
And I think, is this our first Treehouse that does not have a wraparound story?
Yeah, there's no like beginning and like intro, as you say, like the party or the kids in the treehouse.
Yeah.
From the first episode.
Wow.
Or the candy nightmares. Yeah.
Like earlier than I thought. I thought that the wraparounds lasted a much longer time, but wow.
Yeah.
Well, at least Marge is still there to warn us. And it's a shame we didn't get to see the rest of 200 Miles to Oregon, but maybe that's playing on a different network. Amanda, why don't you walk us through our first story of the night?
Yes. Okay. So the first story of this episode of The Simpsons is the shinning.
Gotta be careful how you say that. You don't want to get sued.
Don't want to get sued. Yeah. One of my favorite jokes in Groundskeeper Willie is, his cameos in this are the best, I think, in this episode. And throughout the entire episode, like in this sketch specifically, he's great. But yeah, as you can tell, the shinning or the shining, this Simpsons episode is a parody of The Shining, Stephen King's The Shining. So again, it like almost shot for shot, it tries to parallel the actual movie version of Stephen King's book, The Shining. Mm-hmm. It has the classic, drive there. They throw in a couple, jokes about forgetting to close the front door, and then they go back, and then forgetting to close the back door, and then they go back. And then Marge is like, oh, we forgot Grandpa at the gas station or something. And he's like, I don't care. And they just go. And of course, Burns is like the shady hotelier, and explains how in the tour, like the hotel was built on like an ancient Indian burial ground, and there were satanic rituals and witch burnings and like all kinds of bad shit happened on the land. And he's like, okay, no alcohol, and no TV. So that's kind of what kickstarts Homer's spiral into madness, much like Jack Torrance in The Shining, or The Shining. Don't want to get sued. Yeah, and in this sketch, Bart, just like the little boy in The Shining, he has the shinning, and he realizes this because groundskeeper Willie is the groundskeeper at the hotel, and they identify that, and the quote which we've just said, he references the movie. Bart references The Shining. And he's like, no, you don't want to get sued. So the whole show, everything is the shinning for this sketch. But it's very well done. Again, they do it like kind of shot for shot for The Shining. Mm-hmm. You see Homer spiraling into madness. I think it has a lot of classic Simpsons quotes in it. Like, no beer and no TV make Homer go crazy. And that like the whole scene where he spirals is kind of more, they add another layer to that scene too, where Marge, or like Shelley Duvall's character from The Shining, comes upon the typewriter, and she's she's like, oh, I think it says something like, oh, feeling fine.
Yeah.
And then the walls are covered in no beer, no TV, big home. That's actually scarier.
Yeah.
Than him just repeating that in the book more. And I know like Stephen King was very critical of The Shining. Like, he said that he liked it, and he said that he hated parts of it too, and like what Kubrick did. And there's a lot of like lore about The Shining being about something else, and like Kubrick's having some kind of release of secrets in the movie, and if you look into it, like deeper meanings and whatnot. So it's funny to see The Simpsons do it. And again, there's more gore in this one. You see, unfortunately, groundskeeper Willie comes to the rescue of Bart because he uses the shinning when Homer goes nuts, and he just gets immediately axed in the back. And it's pretty, like, it's gory for The Simpsons. And the ending was great. I think that, Lisa finds groundskeeper Willie's TV when they're like running through the snow. Homer's chasing them, after he does his here's Johnny, and then he ends up with it's 60 minutes because he just keeps going through different hotel rooms trying to find them. But yeah, he chases them into the snow maze, and Lisa finds a mini TV, and it's funny, they all freeze to death because they're entranced by the TV.
Mm-hmm.
The urge to kill rising. Homer's pretty calm until the Tonys come on. I think that's like one of my favorite jokes in that sketch, because the urge to kill rises again, even though they're like pretty much frozen to death. So yeah, it was a good take on The Shining, whatever you want to call it. Don't want to be sued. But it had a lot of laughs, and yeah, it was more violent, a little edgier, but still funny. But classic. Like, when I'd see this episode, I'd be like, yes, I love the Shining episode of The Simpsons. I get super excited and watch it. I think I like it more than the movie, actually. I'm a bigger fan of it. I like The Shining, but I don't know. It's not my favorite.
I mean, it doesn't have groundskeeper Willie, so that automatically loses its points.
Yeah, I love, the blood usually gets off on the second floor. Like, that's great. Like, there's just so many good jokes that they
packed a lot of greatness into this, and I think it's become so popular that The Shining in itself, you can just say that and a lot of people know what you're talking about. Like, oh, I watched The Shining yesterday. People know, they'll be like, oh yeah, I love The Shining. Like, it's as recognizable a word, it's as household a word as The Shining has become.
100%.
And it's full of a lot of those great, just mile-a-minute jokes. The Homer crashing through the window, crashing through the doors with the different late night hosts. It's just a great gag. And again, another instance like we talked about last week where I forgot that Homer shows up in the Terror at 5.5 feet and he's driving past the bus.
Yeah.
I forgot that eventually Grandpa makes it to the hotel.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hi, I'm Grandpa."
Yeah, at the end when he says, "It's 60 minutes." Hi, I'm Grandpa. Yeah. He made it.
Homer has no desire to kill him. He's just like, "Oh, this kind of
fucking guy." Yeah. Doesn't see him as family. That's the joke.
Grandpa doesn't even recognize him, so it's
no.
like
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And
thinks he's on 60 Minutes. Yeah.
And to me, the Shining, like the actual Shining movie, there's something so I like to use this word a lot with movies I love. There's something so cozy about The Shining. Like when I get dropped into the Overlook Hotel, like I love just seeping in that world. And even before they're there alone, when he's just meeting the guy and they're walking through and he's showing them the hotel. So because The Shining recreates the Overlook so well, because they could do that, they could just animate it. I got that cozy feeling too. Like when they're showing up and Burns is like, "Okay, the elevator, here's the blood, the John Denver Christmas specials." I'm like, this just feels like more Shining. And now when I watch The Shining, I'm like, this feels like more Shinning. So it's like a win-win. They both complement each other. I love it.
Yeah. No, it's great. It was a great parody, like you said. And it's one of those sketches where they still remain The Simpsons, but they're, like you said, they're inserted into the story of The Shining, which is cool. So you don't have to be like, okay, this character is like, they're just themselves, but it works with the story. And like the nuclear family. Obviously, there isn't a sister to the little boy, but I love how it's like Maggie playing with blocks and she's like writing Red Rum. Like they're all kind of inserted for that substitute for the kids. So yeah, it's good. I thought it was I like how Mo is like the evil bartender too. Like, just kill your family and I'll give you a beer. Like, or I'll give you a drink. Like he's just always so disgruntled. Like he would be the disgruntled bartender. And that's what's great about The Simpsons. Like they have so many characters that they all will sort of somehow fit into some archetype of a character. And it's funny. It's funny. And they're like prophets and how they predict certain things, like how they've been able to predict certain things. So it's like, these characters, like you put so much thought into them too. They always work. Like it's uncanny at times, like how well things kind of land.
Did I ever tell you that I did a parody of The Shining with my acting students a couple of years ago?
How old were the students?
They were like 14, 15.
Nice. Nice.
One day, if I have my laptop and I see you in person, I'll show it to you. I can't like send my students films, obviously, but I think you'll get a kick out of it.
That's funny.
It's they did a great job. Some of them got the joke. Some of them were like, "What's The Shining?" But they were old enough that they could like look it up and understand. So we had a good time with it.
And it's fun. I think The Shining is a good introduction to horror if you're not like a horror fan, because it's not like there's not a lot of gore. I mean, there's blood, like the blood that comes off the elevator. Like again, the joke, it usually gets off on a different floor. Like it's a kind of eerie movie. There's a little bit of violence, but it's a good introduction to horror. It's more psychological. So it's good that they included it, and I liked that they had a bit of extra violence for The Simpsons. Like it was a good nod, and kind of like an FU to like censorship, and like it's a cartoon. Like calling it like, really, come on, turn on the news. Let's go.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
And in a future episode, don't they have? There's a treehouse that starts with a fox sensor getting stabbed. I think that's the next one, actually.
Yeah.
But, so that must have, you're right. That must have been so in the zeitgeist at the time of just like censor television, get all the sex and drugs off the TV. And now look what Fox has become.
Yeah.
Well, after the shinning, we get into Time and Punishment. And Time and Punishment is the simplest of the three stories. Homer just has to fix the toaster because it is not in good shape after he gets his hand stuck in it twice in a row. And for some reason, Homer has become so good at home repair that his toaster becomes a working time machine. And he gets transported back to the Cretaceous period every time he tries to make a piece of toast. And of course, Homer being Homer, he's going to accidentally cause ripple effects that disturb the world and create alternate realities. And we get a lot of just really fun time travel shenanigans, just little bite-sized moments of him just seeing what kind of changes he makes until he settles on a world where everybody eats like a frog, and he's like, yeah, you know what? Could be worse.
Yeah, this episode is great. I really love how, one, he's able to, repair and create some kind of nuclear fission time travel device, like quantum mechanics that he somehow knows and was able to apply to a toaster accidentally. And why was his hand getting stuck repeatedly? Like, I loved that gag. It's in there again, stuck again.
The family is so frightened every time he gets it. Like, yeah. That's the most scared we've ever heard Lisa.
Yeah, it's like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? But yeah, I love how even though, when he arrives in the prehistoric times, like immediately he's like, oh no, my dad told me, like, if I ever go back in time not to mess with anything. And he does accidentally, but then he just does it repeatedly because when it keeps going back, like, things change, right? And the world where, like you said, he ends up in the lizard world because he's like, close enough when he sees the eating it. Yeah. The world where he should have stayed if he had waited like a couple minutes is where he was like wealthy, like Patty and Selma are dead. It's like, oh, we're gonna take our new Lexus to the funeral, and like he's like, oh, can I have a donut? And she's like, what's a donut? And then he's like, no, and he freaks out. Call back to the Devil and Daniel Webster sketch where he's just obsessed with donuts and he becomes one as a punishment. But he, can't live in a world without donuts, and he leaves. And immediately it starts raining and it's donuts. You see donuts falling from the sky, and Marge is like, oh, it's raining again. Like, that would have been Homer's dream world, and he just, impatience, he left it. So, yeah. I know that this episode is like a nod to a Ray Bradbury story. If you ever read any Ray Bradbury, he's another like classic sci-fi author, and it's The Sound of Thunder is what it's called. But again, the name to like Time and Punishment, a play on, Dostoevsky, right? Yeah, it's a funny it's a funny episode. The gags, it's kind of Orwellian. Yeah, it's with Flanders. Flanders is kind of like a big brother in the first sketch. I thought was funny.
He becomes undisputed lord and master of the world.
Yeah, he's like the overlord. And like everyone gets lobotomized, and I think that part was really funny. I really enjoyed, a lot of that little kind of sketch, and how again they automatically pick the most religious, pious character to be like the evil, like he was the devil, and now he's like the overlord, and he's like the most benign, kind, neighborly, like, he's your neighborino, okily dokily, but like he's evil in all of the Treehouse episodes. I love that they use that opportunity to be like, look, Ned's bad. Like, then we'll make Ned the bad guy. Like,
and then even as an evil man, he's still affable. Like, he's still making them smile.
Yeah, the banality of evil, right?
Yeah,
it's good.
Lobotomized Mo. I'll never get tired of lobotomized Mo.
Yeah,
who's that man there? Who's that big man?
Yeah. It's good. I like that.
And there was like talking about references. We mentioned last time how there's, the show will pull references and we'll be like, what are they talking about? For a long, long time before I got this book, I was always like, what is Homer saying where he's like, I'm the first non-Brazilian person to travel through time. I'm like, what is that? And apparently it says here, now we've proven that this book is nothing if not prone to error, but he's referencing a hallucinogen-inspired author, Carlos Castaneda, the author Carlos Castaneda. So apparently he would take a lot of hallucinogens and he would claim to time travel.
Yeah.
So that, that took me a long time to be like, what is Homer's? Like, should I know this? Was there a guy in Brazil who figured it out?
Yeah, hallucinogens. They're pretty intense. They'll make you think a lot of things, see a lot of shit that isn't real. Yeah. Not quite like it's like the opposite of people who do like fentanyl and like drugs like that. It's like ultra stimulation. You think you've seen things that you haven't, and like you went to another dimension and like all kinds of stuff. People just don't have the mental capacity to understand that it's a hallucination. That's what all it is.
They forget, like, this thing I took happened, and then this crazy thing happened. I wonder if there's a connection.
Weird. I mean, it is like a religious experience, I'm sure. Like the visuals are probably intense and the overwhelming, feelings. Not to say I have that experience, but what I've read, it's a cultural thing, and hey, I'll give her, do it. But just, remain in reality. We don't want to Marion Cotillard ourselves like Inception. Like, it's a dream. I'm in a dream. And then you jump off and hurl yourself out a window, like jump out a building, right? Yeah.
I like using Marion Cotillard as a verb now. That's
hey, it's nice to have those references. It's that just die badly in movies. That's the Marion Cotillard.
Mm-hmm.
Dies so badly in The Dark Knight.
Just hallucinate responsibly.
Yeah, hallucinate responsibly.
Look, I only popped 2 Quaaludes before we jumped on here, and that vortex behind you just looks completely manageable. So
that's what it's thinking about you as well, right? You look into the abyss. It looks back into you.
Well, that's Time and Punishment. And then we have Nightmare Cafeteria, Amanda. What's that one about?
Oh, Nightmare Cafeteria is great. This is a great sketch because it's Lisa and Bart focused. So you get to see, again, like the elementary school characters, which I really like. You get like a kind of a different angle on The Simpsons, which is great about The Simpsons because you kind of, get the family dynamic. You get Homer at work. You get Marge is like, I almost said single mom because it feels like that. But like, as stay-at-home mom, you get, the other side characters, but you get the kids as well, which is really funny. So you get to see Springfield through the eyes of the children in Springfield and like their stories and, those characters. And it's funny to see them applied into the Treehouse of Horror, right? Especially when you're a kid and you're watching it, which I was in like the 90s when these came out. So any of the horror episodes that had, Bart and Lisa or focused on them was great. But yeah, this episode, Nightmare Cafeteria, I think it's like loosely based on, I want to say Soylent Green, which is like which is the sequel to Omega Man, right? With Charlton Heston.
I think so.
Which is kind of the Z for Zombies basis as well. Like that's Omega Man, where all the zombies attack them and all the creatures of the night. Omega Man, I think it's called. Which
the Omega Man, yeah. And I think that in itself was there was a Vincent Price movie, The Last Man on Earth, and I think that became they remade it as Omega Man. Yeah. I didn't know Soylent Green was connected though. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's the second part of it, and Soylent Green is people, right? So in the Nightmare Cafeteria, it's the students. Skinner is talking to Lunch Lady Doris. I love that that's her name, Lunch Lady. Shout out to Adam Sandler, the Lunch Lady song. It's always fun. But yeah, Principal Skinner. They're talking about how there's an overcrowding of the students, and that they're running out of food, and they need more supplies. And someone spills some like ingredients on, I think it's Jimbo, right? Jimbo's the first victim. unfortunately, the bully Jimbo, and Skinner's has the idea of eating students because detention's overcrowded. Let's use the students for this food issue they're having in the cafeteria at the school, and they slowly start developing a cannibalistic taste for the students, all the teachers at the school, and the children don't know that they're eating their fellow students, which is a funny nod again to Soylent Green, because the people in the movie don't know that they're eating. I think they're eating something else manufactured, but it's just people. So they're gleefully eating it. And this episode's great because again, you see the students, you get to see Uter, and Skinner sees him so plump and delicious, eating seconds of the sloppy Jimbos.
Can I have another sloppy Jimbo?
Can I have another sloppy Jimbo? Exactly. And he, gets the appetite. He sees him and it's delicious. So they make him, Uberbraten, like Oktoberfest at the school for some reason, even though that's like a drinking cultural thing. Anyway, I don't know if they do that I'm sure they have it for children in Germany, but and Bavaria, but like it's so funny. They themed his lunch. Like they had to. He couldn't help it. Like Skinner couldn't help himself. But yeah, it's a funny episode, and it's a little bit more edgy and disgusting. But what I really like in this sketch again, groundskeeper Willie inexplicably gets axed in the back.
Again.
Got
a hat trick.
But yeah, there's exactly. There's a hat trick in this episode. He dies the same way in every sketch of this episode. Again, just to raise the level of violence, like a nod to the censors, like, hey, say something again, say it. But I think it's funny. Eventually, like Art and Lisa are like the only ones left alive after groundskeeper Willie at the school tries to save them from Skinner, and Marge wakes up and it was like a dream of hers that she was having. And I think the sketch ends with everyone's who had the dream?
I think it was
Lisa.
It's Bart who has the dream, and then the fog comes in.
And then Marge assures him it's okay, but there's the fog that turns you inside out. And even now, I think that's like the scariest part of the episode. Like that trips me out. Like that tripped me out. As a younger kid, I liked horror. I'm like, that would be trippy if that actually happened. Like that's scary. But then they dance.
Out of nowhere too.
Comes out of nowhere. They all come in the bedroom and they do like a song and dance, skinless song and dance. As I think again as a nod to the censors, like, hey, check this out, gore.
Yeah.
Gore the Simpsons, right?
It's definitely the most visceral that any of these have ever been. Like they just went for it with that
gruesome and heartwarming ending. Like, hey, it's okay. Look at us dancing.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
There's even a picture of it, like in this book. There's a picture of Homer getting turned inside out, and it's so disturbing.
Yeah, it's actually disturbing.
I don't know, like how the censors felt about it, but I'm sure it must have been really funny seeing their faces. Also, I just think it's great that the very next page is Uta.
Uta. Don't chase me. Don't chase me.
Nightmare Cafeteria is a lot of fun. That line about the free range children, I've heard like hundreds of times because of those Teletoon bumpers. I love just how enjoyable the kids must taste, because every time you see the teachers eating them, they're just like
drooling.
Yeah, like they can't get over the deliciousness of it. And Lunch Lady Doris, she is incredible. She has one of my most frequently quoted Simpsons lines that I say very regularly. At work, we have these like yoga mats and stuff, and sometimes I have to like roll them out if I'm using them for props or whatever. And I inevitably end up saying, "There's very little meat in these gym mats."
Yeah. Yeah, because she's trying to use ingredients to make food for everyone. I really like in the one episode where Ned is the overlord. Sorry, the episode, the sketch part of the episode where Ned is the overlord, and they're all in like the brainwashing, and
Mhm.
they're all supposed to be smiling. And he's like, just relax, let the hooks do their job. Like, I always think about that, especially when I'm at the dentist. Just relax, let the hooks do their job.
He's so casual about it.
Yeah. Anytime I see hooks, I'm like, that's what I always think of. Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of quotes, is that your favorite quote or moment from the episode, or do you have something even grander?
I really love, and I always used to say this when I was a kid, in the shinning part where where they're about to, like, they're running away from Homer in the maze, and they're outside in the snow, and they show him the TV, and he's like, oh, teacher, mother, secret lover. Like when he's watching TV, like I always used to say that. Like, oh, I'm home, I can watch TV. Mother, teacher, mother, secret lover. Like, I love it. That's like my friend. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like that. And like the urge to kill rising, like I would always say that, like urge to kill rising, like when I would get mad. Because again, this is one of the best Treehouse of Horrors. It's one of the highest rated. It's one of the best episodes. I think it has a lot of great, and just the re-killing of groundskeeper Willie.
What a great theme.
I love it.
Great
Yeah, I love it. It's the same way in every sketch. Yeah, great.
I ended up picking for my favorite quote here. It's also from The Shinning.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm going to say this so many times. It's one of those jokes that I forget is in the episode because there's so many things packed together.
Yeah.
It's Marge calling for help and saying, "Help, my husband is trying to murder our family. Over." And Wiggin goes, "Oh, I'm glad that's over."
That's over. Yeah. So useless.
He's the worst cop ever.
Again, everyone's so bad at their professions on The Simpsons. It's so funny. They all suck. Even Dr. Hibbert. Like he's more professional than Dr. Nick, but like he's still shady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll still torment Homer after a heart attack.
Yeah.
Just to get his giggles.
Yeah, or you have to use like the terror sweat to take off glue. Regular sweat doesn't work the same. All right. He glues on the stuff on his face. Yeah. Bart.
Now,
yeah.
I feel like these three have so far been the hardest stories to rank, Amanda. They were tricky.
Yeah.
And my 1 and 2 ended up being almost a tie. Like they were so close.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling we're going to end up with a different scenario here. So,
I think so.
For my number 3, I went with Nightmare Cafeteria. And it's like, it's fun. It's very grotesque. It's the most violent. Milhouse just suddenly, for no reason, falling into the purifier is great. I think it just, I couldn't even tell you anything that's wrong with it. There's so much in the other two, and they surpass this in ways that kind of leave this in the dust. But it's never going to not be enjoyable to watch. It's never going to be not enjoyable to watch them eat Ooter and eat Jimbo and check on the free-range children.
Yeah.
It's pure gold. And when I do my book recommendation in a few minutes, it has to, I got the idea from Nightmare Cafeteria. So.
Okay. Nice. Okay. I actually agree with you. That's my third as well.
All right.
Yeah. It's the most grotesque of them all, which is fine by me. I just don't, like, story-wise, Soylent Green isn't my favorite story. And I think that's probably why. Again, like, you're not a fan of zombies, right? Yeah. It is funny. Like, I really love this entire episode is, again, one of my favorites. I think, like, I like it. I like that it's the kids like that's the focus of the episode, so it makes it funny. Like again, you get Ooter, you get Jimbo, you get all the kids, which you don't normally see in every episode. Which, and again, it's fitting. It's Halloween. Halloween is for kids. Have an episode with the child characters, right?
Yeah.
So I do like it, but it's my least favorite of them all. Yeah.
Yeah, totally fair.
Yep.
So for number 2, and again, boy, were these ever close. I went with The Shining. I know that is so classic, and like I will take any opportunity I can to spend time in the Overlook Hotel, be it animated here or live action, whatever. It's cozy, man. I love it. Yeah. But the Shining references in here are so speedy and so clever. They did so many fun things with it. Like you said, that twist of the typewriter and then going to the wall. Like that's such a good example of The Simpsons, how they play with your expectations for comedy and them showing off like, hey, we can do that for horror too. And like we can have a joke and then a jump scare and it actually works better than the movie. It's like, holy shit, they did it. Like I love everything about this. It's just one little thing took Time and Punishment above it for me.
Yeah. No, that's it. I think that's fair. And I think just to your point about how we talked about it being that moment with the typewriter and it being different than the actual Shining, the Shining, and it actually being scary. And you know, that being different maybe for The Simpsons, or to think, oh, you know, in theory, like that's actually terrifying. It's more scary, and it being weird that it's on a cartoon. But like I always say, it's harder to be funny. Like that's the hardest thing to be. Like you can do drama, you can be dry, you can be, you know, whatever, but it's difficult to get on stage or, you know, just in general be hilarious or be funny and comedic. People don't realize that. It's way harder. That's why you can see like, you know, Jim Carrey. That's why he's so good at being a dramatic actor. Or Robin Williams is another example of that. Like they're hilarious people, but like on the flip side of the coin, like, you know, they're also dramatic, because being funny is you can it is natural for certain people, but it's still tricky, you know what I mean, like to get a wide audience, and it, like they captured. But The Simpsons does it and they do it well, and there's a dark side, right? There's capacity for both. Like, but they're so creative, and I think that's where it comes from, right? They're so good at applying, and how this would be scary too, but it's funny. It has a funny twist, right?
Yeah.
So like a play on it. But yeah, I think I agree. I liked, I agree with you, but I really like The Shining. That's my number 1. I think the Time and Punishment is my number 2, like very closely. I always love time travel. Like time travel stuff is my favorite. Like I love Back to the Future. It's one of my favorite movies, like movie trilogies ever. I love it. It's classic. We used to watch it all the time when I was a kid, and my brother also loved it. Like Marty's awesome. Like drives a DeLorean through time. He skateboards. Right? He plays guitar. Really loud metal guitar. Huey Lewis. You know, I love that cameo in the movies. But yeah, no, I love Back to the Future. I love it. The concept's fun. Like who doesn't love science? I love all the, like even the third movie, like a lot of the references to like to Jules Verne throughout the series, like science fiction, like, you know, pioneer, right? So yeah, I'm a big fan of time travel, and I really liked their play on it. Like it was good. But yeah, The Shining, that's my number 1. Yeah.
Totally fair. And it's such a famous Treehouse story too, that I totally get it. And I went into this expecting expecting Shining to be my number 1 because it's so iconic. But then as I was watching Time and Punishment, the one thing that just nudged it a little bit for me, like obviously the jokes are great. I love James Earl Jones, Maggie killing Willie, and like all the different like so the donut world, and how dark it is that Patty and Selma being dead is part of what would make Homer's perfect world.
In perfect world, yeah. Going to the funeral, yeah. The little tweaks in there, yeah. I love that Maggie is so homicidal.
Yeah.
And in that one, she's the one who killed Willie for some reason, unbeknownst. But she does kill Burns and like, or shoots Burns or whatever. Like, yeah, she's violent. She's like Stewie. You just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Just that beef with that bald baby with the tooth, like.
Yeah, she's
Maggie's dark.
Genius.
Yeah, Maggie's dark. Like, that's why it's funny to see how she's applied in the Treehouse movie, the Treehouse movies, the Treehouse episodes because of that. Yeah.
And like on top of all the jokes, I think what nudged Time and Punishment for me was the idea that it's so rich of a concept to have him do all this time hopping and create all these new realities that I thought you could literally make this toaster thing the wraparound story and have every Treehouse story be a different time travel universe. Like you can do a lot with this. And that was going back and forth. I'm like, does that mean it was a great concept and they didn't use it enough? Or does that mean they used it just enough? And I feel like right now it's above Shinning. Maybe if you ask me in 3 days, it'll be below Shinning. Like they're so close. But if they're ever running short of ideas for Treehouse of Horror 47, just do a time travel thing, man. Just see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. But yeah, no, The Shining is number one for me. I really liked, again, how they applied the Simpsons family into the story of the parody, and it just worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way they had Moe as the bartender ghost, like Burns as the evil hotelier, doesn't tell them anything and then restricts them from booze, and Smithers is like, should we do this? Like the last one killed his family, and he's like, oh well, if this one does, then I owe you a Coke or something like that. Like it's so like
typical billionaire behavior, right?
Yeah, something so stupid, like trading, like the movie Trading Places, or like they make the bet over $1 to like ruin the guy's life and swap it out. Like it's just evil, right? Like people with money just have no morality. But it's so funny. I think all the jokes in it are really well done, and like I love that Bart has the Shinning, and like Willie's like, don't read my mind between 4 or 5 and 6 or something. Like
that's like, Willie's time.
That's Willie's time. Yeah. Like Willie's just great in this whole episode. Like the arc of how he gets murdered and everyone, starting from the first sketch or the first segment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that was really good how they did that, and I liked how they really were like, it's the Shining, so they can't get sued. But like obviously you're familiar with the story because like everybody read the book, mostly everybody's seen the movie. It was very popular when it came out, and again, even now, like it's a good starter horror movie, I would say, for a lot of people if they're not super into gore, they're not super into like scary movies. It's still pretty good, and I think a lot of people are scared by it. I'm not one of them. Like I like it. It's like a psychological horror, but yeah, the parody of it is hilarious, and I think that's why I love it. Because The Simpsons, I'm like, yeah, I like The Shining. I preferred it to The Shining. Like Dr. Sleep. No, that's a great book. Great. I liked the movie as well, but yeah, The Shining is my favorite for many reasons, I think.
Yeah, totally viable pick. Now, I'm curious, is The Shining, I almost said Shining, is The Shining your book recommendation for the day? Or do you have something else in mind? What do you got?
Yes. Dr. Sleep.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I have it. I won't grab it, but you guys can Google it, Dr. Sleep. It's the companion to The Shining. It was written later by Stephen King.
Much later.
Actually, the movie was actually very well done as well. The movie's done by Mike Flanagan. If you're not familiar, he did Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, Fall of the House of Usher. He's done a bunch of series, like horror thriller series on Netflix. He has a bunch of movies as well. But I would say, yeah, he did a really good job on Dr. Sleep. It stars Ewan McGregor. He's like an adult version of Danny. and it shows his struggle with alcoholism, similar to his dad, like Jack Torrance. And yeah, it's really well done. It has more to do with the shinning or the shining ability and that world, which it's a little, it gives you more into the supernatural realm. And I think the book was good. The movie was really well done. So yeah, that would be my book recommendation for this week.
That's a great one. I didn't read either of those books. I've read some King, but never those ones for whatever reason. But I like how the Dr. Sleep movie understood that it could also be a sequel to the Shining movie, in how the movie and the book were very different, right? With the Overlook not being destroyed in the movie, right? So I like how they took that opportunity to say, like, well, we can be part of the movie universe and tell our own little slightly tangential thing. And it was a very well done. I hesitate to call it legacy sequel because there was nobody really in it from the original, but just long delayed sequel,
Yeah. No, and it was really well done. They did kind of have an actor in the place of Jack Torrance, and I think it was what's his name? The little boy from E.T. He's in all of a lot of Mike Flanagan's projects.
Is it Thomas something?
Yeah.
That was him playing Jack in Dr. Sleep?
Yeah, that was him.
Wow.
I'm just going to double check.
What?
But yes, I believe that was him. But yeah, it's a really great movie. Again, Ewan McGregor's in it. Rebecca Ferguson plays the bad guy. She plays Rose the Hat, which is a really simple Halloween costume.
Yes,
Halloween
it
coming
is.
up. Super simple Halloween costume for anyone. but yeah, the guy plays Jack. Hang on. Sorry, I'm just looking at IMDb.
I'm trying to search it up on my end, and my phone is being a big jerk. Let's see.
It is, Henry Thomas.
Henry Thomas, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, you were right with Thomas. I forgot the Henry. I'm getting old now. My memory is not as quick.
First names. It could have been either.
Yeah,
way.
For real. Get a last name, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Let's go.
Change your name to Henry Torrance.
Yeah, last name. Let's go. Another Trailer Park reference.
So with my book recommendation, it's actually a book I used to own, but I don't anymore, and I wish I did. And it was inspired by Nightmare Cafeteria. Because Nightmare Cafeteria, everything from what happens in it to the title itself feels like a Goosebumps book. And it made me want to be back then in, when did this air? October 94, reading Goosebumps, because I had a bunch. I was on board the Goosebumps train, Amanda. I was like fully there. I had my Goosebumps Pogs. I had a Goosebumps board game. I was all in. I was looking forward to those Scholastic book fairs. I don't know how often they did them, but yeah, they were my promised land. And this really felt like that. Yeah. Obviously much gorier, but the stories that those books told, they're probably so simple now if we go back to them, but they were just packed with the kind of stuff kids loved to read in horror back then. Like thin books, little thin books, but they really filled them to the brim with fun stuff. And considering R.L. Stine was cranking those out like a machine, I'm surprised that they didn't, suffer. Like they were all decent books.
Yeah, I was also a huge fan. I think one summer I must have just went through all of them. My mom was like, "Oh, you like them? Okay," and I just blazed through them. And then I went into his Fear Street, R.L. Stine's more teenage young adult themed YA. So they're a little darker, a little edgier.
Yeah. And
those were also awesome. I know Netflix redid, or they did a Fear Street series, which in my opinion was done. I liked it. I thought it was well done. it was, modernized, and some of the characters, but I liked it a lot. It's a 3-part. You got to watch them all. I would recommend watching them. Yeah, big fan of Goosebumps, so I'll have to read these books.
Yeah, I wish I still had mine. I think I gave them all to charity. So hopefully there's some kid enjoying them out there right now. But man, Goosebumps were, and getting to see the cover every time a new one came out was such a treat because those were beautiful.
So good. Do you have a favorite one?
Oh man, that's a great question. I really liked there. It was one of the ones that I didn't have. It was the one Piano Lessons Can Be Murder, and it was just the 2 disembodied hands playing the piano. That looks really cool. But they were all beautiful. Like Ghost Beach was beautiful.
Yeah.
The first one I ever got was The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, and then the sequel, and like they were like kind of similar, but like just the mummy in like different positions, and I was like, oh, I love it. What about you?
I really liked Ghost Beach. I really loved The Ghost Next Door. That was my favorite, I think.
I don't remember that cover.
That one it's sad. It's a sad story, but it's a really good story. And I liked how they incorporated that story into the Goosebumps movie that they made, which was really well done as well. It has like Jack Black in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably one of my favorites. And I liked the Haunted, the first book. Do you know how it was like they were all numbered? The first one was also like a haunting story where they move into the house.
Yeah. Welcome to Dead House.
Welcome to Dead House. Yeah, that was like in my top 5. I really liked those ones. I liked the ghost themes ones, I guess, the most. But I had them all. Like I had every single one. Say Cheese and Die was a good one. But yeah. I remember Piano Lessons Can Be Murder.
Yeah, that cover. That's a beautiful cover. Piano Lessons Can Be Murder.
I hated the bee cover. Do you remember that one? It was like
Why I'm Afraid of Bees.
Something. Yeah. Oh my God, I hated that book.
Yeah, I don't like bees in real life myself, so yeah, that cover. I don't think I read that one. No. There was one that was really great, the Jack-o'-lanterns one, because it was like actually a Halloween one.
Yeah, that one was good.
Heads. Yeah, and, there was one that nobody ever talked about, but it might have been the best written one in terms of just the world building. It was called The Beast from the East. Do you remember The Beast from the East?
Yeah, I actually do remember that one. I feel like that was one of the... I don't think it was an early one. I think it was like later in the numbered series, if I'm right. Yeah, The Haunted Mask was a classic, but yeah, The Beast from the East.
Yeah, it was like a game of like manhunt. And the kids were trapped in this mythical forest with these beasts, and the manhunt game was like deadly, and like the rules of the game were so complex that it felt like you were reading like a dense fantasy novel with a whole lot of world building. Like there was so much to it, and the beasts are like, you're a level 1 player, so you have to abide by these rules, but I'm a level 6 beast, so I can do this to you. And I just remember loving it.
Yeah, it kind of paralleled like the Hunger Games kind of, in the way like you said, like it's like a game and they're hunting them, but it's also kind of like the deadliest game. Do you remember the Nick Nolte movie with Ice-T where he's hunting him that in the 90s?
No, but that's an amazing sentence.
Yeah. What was it called? That movie was great. It was like the deadliest game. Hang on, I'm gonna put in Ice-T on. I have to Google it.
And is Ice hunting Nick, or is Nick hunting Ice?
No, Ice-T's being hunted, and it was like surviving the game. That's what it was called.
Surviving the game.
Yeah, it was out. I just remember, like, my dad used to watch all these movies. Sorry, it was Rutger Hauer, not Nick Nolte. So that made it scarier. No, Nick Nolte's in it. I'm wrong. Yeah, Nick Nolte was in it, and Rutger Hauer's in it. Like a bunch of random like actors are in it, and they're all hunting Ice-T. It's really, yeah, but he's like badass in it, right? Like, so it has a good ending. Like, it's good. but they're all like, I guess Vietnam, like PTSD, like dudes who just are evil, and they just get people, invite people on trips and then like chase them around and murder them.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. Obviously a child version of it with monsters instead of like Republicans. Soldiers. Nothing against that.
That'll be R.L. Stein's next book, The Republican from the East.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but he had so many that were good. Like the dummy ones were creepy. There were a couple
like
of
4
those.
I think, too.
Yeah, there were a few of those. I don't think I read. Yeah, when did they all come out? Because I stopped reading them at a point, and I was like, oh, I'm into the YA ones.
Yeah.
So like there were like, I don't think I read the one with the snowman on the cover, or like, because I remember that one, and I'm like, I don't think I want to read this one. And there were a couple of like there was another Haunted Mask, I think, and there was another Say Cheese and Die. So there were a few sequels that I just was like, oh, I didn't read.
Yeah.
But I like all the like original, I think from 94 until like 96, all of them, boom.
Right.
In like a summer.
Wow, that's a lot. That must have been a great summer.
I wish I remembered them all now.
I know.
Dang.
I wish I still had them. And I used to subscribe to this 90s magazine called Disney Adventures. I don't know if you remember it. It was a very small magazine. It was like digest sized. And I had like so many throughout the 90s, like, because they would come every month, and I gave those away too. And I'm like, shit, I wish I still had them. Those are just a treasure trove of childhood for me.
Do you remember the books that were like a series, the Bailey School books or something? The Bailey School Kids?
Oh, yeah. Isn't that the one like vampires don't wear polka dots?
Yes.
Yeah.
Leprechauns don't play basketball. And yeah, werewolves don't garden or something. Like, yeah, I loved those books too. I thought they were good. Like the kids always thought they were detectives. In some sort of fashion, but yeah, those books were good. I wish I still had remembered like all of those, or had all of those, similar to like the Goosebumps, right? I think there were way less of them, but there were still quite a few. Like, yeah, like what were they called? Aliens Don't Wear Braces. I remember that.
Aliens Don't Wear Braces. I think there were like 12 or 13 of those ones.
Yeah, there were a few. There were at least a dozen, right?
And then Goosebumps, man, I think they got up to like 75 or something of the main story.
Yeah, he's one of the best-selling authors.
Yeah, he's still holding that title. Good for him.
Still holding it. Yep.
So buy yourself some Goosebumps, everybody, if you're listening, and buy us some while you're at it, because it'd be nice to go back and read them. But none of the new shit where it's like, here's a modern cover with no love. Like, give us the old art. Yeah, the embossed Goosebumps on it. Like, that's the way to go.
Classic.
Well, everybody, that'll do it for Tales from the Treehouse episode 5. Thank you so much for listening or watching or just grooving along with us. We hope you had a jolly old time. We're going to see you all next time for episode 6. Until then, please don't blame us.
We voted for Kodo.
See you next time.